Hey my loves, what's up? For those of you that don't know me, my name is Crissanna, and if you're new here, then welcome, and if you're an oldie, welcome back. So guys, in today's video, we have a good one. We're going to be testing out the new Jaclyn Hill times Morphe, the Divine Neutrals eyeshadow palette. So this is what the packaging looks like. And then here is what the inside looks like. So this is like any neutral lover's dream palette. It is absolutely gorgeous, and it does come with a large mirror as well, which I absolutely love. So I have the Jaclyn Hill times Morphe Volume 2 palette, and I absolutely love that palette, but I just feel like I don't use it enough. And then I also have one of Jaclyn Hill's smaller palettes, the Dark Magic one, which I did not think that one worked very well. I thought it was kind of crappy actually. So I'm really excited to see how these shades perform. So for today, we are going to be doing a 2 looks in 1, which I haven't done in a while, but I figured why not do 2 looks in 1? I mean, do like a softer look on one eye and then do a more dramatic look on the other side. So let's go ahead and jump right in. And if I didn't mention, this palette retails for $18 on Ulta's website. So we're going to do one eye at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and prime with the L'Oreal Infallible Concealer. I'm just going to take a concealer buffing brush and blend that out. Now I probably will do swatches at the end. So since there is a light enough shade in the palette, I'm not going to set with setting powder. I'm going to actually use a shade from the palette. So the lightest shade in the palette is called... Okay, never mind, because this has a little bit of sheen to it. I always want like a nice light matte shade to set the lids with. So I'm just going to take my Maybelline Fit Me powder and just set this lid. So let's go ahead and do the more dramatic look first. So we're first going to start with a transition shade, and this shade is called Just Barely. So it is the second one right here. I'm using a brush by James Charles and Morphe. This is the M441 brush. So it is a bigger blending brush. So I'm just going to go ahead and blend this right up here above the crease. So there is definitely a lot of kick up in the pan. Shade seems really, really nice and pigmented though. So using the same brush, I'm going to go ahead and pick up a deeper shade now. So the next shade we're going to grab is this one called Good Vibes. And again, I'm going to use the same brush, and I'm going to be a little more precise with this and get this closer to the crease. Again, the shade is also super pigmented. Definitely would say this has like an orangey undertone. I haven't got that shade laid down. I'm just going to go back and forth and blend. So now I'm going to pick up a different brush. This is the Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH33 brush. Probably by far one of my favorite brushes. And I'm going to go into the shade Bucked. So it is the second to last darkest shade, which I think this shade is more darker than this one, but we're going to go in with the shade Bucked. And I'm just going to build this right up on the outer V. Oh yeah, that is really pigmented. I feel like Morphe's shadows, I feel like they don't ever let me down with the mattes. I feel like they're always so pigmented, and they usually blend really well too. Now their shimmers on the other hand aren't always so great, but I do like their mattes. So once I've got that packed on the outer V how I want, I'm going to start working it into the crease. So just very lightly. Just going to start working this right into the crease. So I'm going to pick up some more of the Good Vibe shade using the same brush, and I'm just going to blend that right up here just to make sure everything is nicely blended. So now I do want to deep this up just a little bit more, so I'm going to take the shade Boo Bear, using the same brush. So instead of bringing this shade up as high as I brought the last shade, I'm going to keep it down here on the lid more, just very lightly tap. And then I'm just going to kind of move my brush around just to kind of blend that in. But this is the most thing I love about Morphe's eyeshadows. If you don't have to work super hard to blend them out, as long as you have a decent brush, I feel like the brush does most of the work for you. All right guys, so we are looking nice and blended. So now we're going to go ahead in with some shimmer shades. So I'm going to take this green shade right here called Drippin'. And again, I'm using one of my favorite brushes. This is from the Morphe and James Charles. It's the M124 brush. It's a really, really nice flat brush. And I know right now, for some reason, James Charles and Morphe are no longer going to be working together. So James Charles palettes and his brushes are on sale on Ulta right now. And if you like Morphe brushes and you want to get them at a discount, they are amazing brushes. Okay, right off the bat, that shade is super pigmented and is applying really nice. So I'm not going to bring this shade all the way over because I do want to go in with another shimmer shade. I feel like this shimmer is so good that it almost kind of feels like I've wetted my brush. So I'm getting quite a bit of fallout from this shade, but that is to be expected. But you guys, like, that is such a pretty mossy green shade. So now that we've gotten that shade laid down, I am going to go in with a different shade now. So I'm now going to go in with the shade Exposed. I feel like this might be a little bit too dark, but if it is, I'm just going to have to add a deeper matte shade on the outer V. So this is kind of going to go right like in the center of my lid. Okay, no, I don't think that shade's going to be too dark, and I think that's a really, really, like, nice dark green shade. Alright guys, so there is one look down, and first impression, I absolutely love this palette so far. I feel like the mattes are super creamy and they blend so well, and the two shimmers that I have tried are absolutely amazing. So let's go ahead and do the other side now. Alright guys, let's move on to look number 2 now, and I do want to keep this a little bit softer. I am super heavy-handed, so we're going to try to keep it as soft as we can. So of course I'm going to have to use some of the same shades we already used because there isn't many mattes in this palette. So first I'm going to take the shade Just Barely. I am going to be a little more heavy-handed with this versus the other side. I'm going to build this up to as deep as I can get it. And then I'm going to take the shade Good Vibes. And I'm going to pack this shade right along the outer V. So of course I am going to build this one up as well and see how dark I can get it. I'm also going to take this shade right into the crease. But again, like, these shades blend out so effortless. So I'm just going back in with the big fluffy brush and blending up around the edges. So I'm going to go back in with Good Vibes, and this time I'm going to be a little bit harsher to pack it right down here in this area. Okay guys, and I think we are done with that side for the matte shades. If anything, when we're done with the shimmers, I might go back in with a deeper shade just to darken up that outer V. So I'm first going to take the shade All Luxe. So it is this pinky tone shade right here. I'm going to add this to the inner part of the lid. And again, this shimmer shade is picking up really well. And then I'm going to take the shade Birthday Sweet, which is this one right here. And this one is going to go on the center part of the lid. So some of the shimmer shades in this palette I feel like look intimidating, but once you apply them to the lid, they're actually not as dark as they look. Like, you guys, these eye looks are almost like super easy and they just blend so well. And look at that, you guys. We literally created 2 looks, and I did both of these within about 15 minutes. So this one took me about 10, and then this one literally took me like 5 minutes and under. I've been recording now for 5 minutes and 20 seconds. So that means that this side literally took me 5 minutes to do, which is absolutely amazing. But again, I do think this palette is really nice if, like, you're on the go and you have to get out of the house like ASAP. I feel like you could create an eye look pretty fast with this palette. So let's go ahead and do the bottom waterline now. So let's go ahead and do the lighter side first. So I'm first going to take the shade Good Vibes. I'm taking this on a pencil brush. I'm just going to run this right along the lower lash line. I'm not going to be too precise. And then I'm going to take a skinnier smudging brush, and I'm going to grab the shade Booked. And I'm also going to run this right along the lower lash line, but I'm going to keep it super close to the lash line. So for this side, I'm going to first start with the shade Booked. And again, I'm not going to be too precise with this one, just putting it under the lower lash line. And then I'm going to go back in with my skinny smudging brush, and I'm going to take the shade Boo Bear. So for the inner corners, I'm going to take All Luxe for both sides. So this one right here. Whatever's left over my brush, just up here under the eyebrow. So usually I would wear like a dark brown liner on the waterline, but today I'm going to skip out on that. I'm going to go off camera, I'm going to apply my false lashes, and then when I come back, we can do the lips together, and then I'm also going to do some swatches. Alright, you guys, I really wanted to do my lip on camera, but I just went back and watched the footage, and I completely had my mic off at that point. So I'm going to tell you guys what I used. So for lip liner, I went in with the NYX Lip Liner in brown. And then for lipstick, I took the Milani Color Fetish Matte Lipstick in the shade Desire. So I see that this Milani lipstick is now blowing up all over TikTok and like all over social media. But it's crazy because I actually reviewed these lipsticks on my channel almost 3 months ago, which is so crazy. Back then I feel like a lot of people said that they really didn't like them and stuff, but for me personally, I've always loved them. So I think it's kind of crazy now how they're like blowing up all of a sudden. But anyways, you guys, yeah, I cut that part out. So I am gonna do everything the same again. So I am gonna do some swatches on my arms. I'm gonna show you guys. So here are these swatches. The mattes are at the top and the shimmers are at the bottom. So honestly, you guys, they swatched okay. I just feel like the swatches just don't do justice. Most of the time for me when I do swatches, they're nothing like what the shadows perform like on the eyes. I feel like it did take me a lot of dips with my finger to get the pigment on my arm. But other than that, you guys, I love how both looks came out. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a close-up. So yeah, if I could recommend this palette, I would definitely recommend it. 10 out of 10 stars. I think if you guys don't have this palette, you need it. Whether you're a neutral lover or you love to play with colors and neutrals, I feel like this is the perfect palette to have. I feel like it's not too big, but the pan sizes are decent sizes, but the palette itself isn't like super bulky. It's pretty thin on the sides. I feel like it'd be great to travel with, and it's super easy to create looks. I feel like this neutral look over here took me literally 5 minutes to create, which is super fast. So that means the shadows blend really well and these shimmers are very pigmented as well. So yeah, if you guys ended up liking this video, please be sure to give it a big old thumbs up and please subscribe if you haven't already. If there's anything at all that you guys want to see next, please let me know, because at this point I have so much new makeup that I need to film. So if you guys want to see anything at all, like even easy Halloween looks or some fall looks or anything like that, please let me know down below. And yeah, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and I'll see you next time.